This episode is sponsored by Kindred Media.
It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's a new episode of No Filter. Now, today's guest, I don't know how to describe her because she's like iconic, legendary. And she's more than a model. I mean, to me and to the fashion world, she's broken so many boundaries. The first African beauty to launch her own makeup line. I mean, she's opened the doors for countless of models, including myself. In pop culture, she and her husband, David Bowie, were the most stylish duo in the world. Do you know what I'm talking about? She's known around the world with one name, and one name only, because there's no one else like her. Ladies and gentlemen, yes it is. Please welcome our queen, Iman!
Oh, can I just, I'm gonna keep that tape.
Oh my goodness!
I'm gonna keep that tape and play it around the house by myself. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, queen, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, but how are you doing these days is a loaded question.
I know.
It is. It's been a tough year. My daughter lives in LA, so I couldn't see her for a while. My dog Max passed away. Oh yeah, so it's been a year. It's been Max had passed away.
I'm so sorry.
He passed away this year. But he was 14 years old, and he had a long, healthy life. And he passed away at home, quietly in my arms.
Oh.
And he gave me that gift. I didn't have to euthanize him or put him down. He was sick, but he really just passed away looking at me in my arms. So, however that difficult it is, listen, I feel blessed because there are a lot of things that has happened to a lot of people this year. That is, wow. I don't even know where to start. Yeah.
Well, queen, I can't believe you are like my dream. Oh. I said, I'm going to wait patiently when she's ready.
I wanted to do it. First of all, I'm very, very proud of you. Not only of the woman you have become, you've grown into. I'm beyond honored, but also very, very proud to see your evolution. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. That means so much to me coming from you. I take every word from you like. Oh, thank you. So let's go to the beginning, like we say here on No Filter. Where did we meet first?
I really don't know. I thought about it today because I thought, it'd be nice to remember. But, I have an excuse. I don't know what your excuse is. I'm 65.
I'm about to be 51.
You're a young girl. You should remember.
Okay, so I do remember.
Okay.
I remember.
Yeah.
We met backstage at Terry Mugler.
Oh.
One of those shows that was like in the African Center with you and Grace and Betty Lago.
Katusha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, just about to say her name, it's Katusha that brought me to you. Yeah, Katusha.
Yeah, what a lovely, lovely girl.
I mean, mad as a hatter, but I loved her. Her.
I could say that about you when you were young.
Absolutely. That's why I loved her. I mean, and I felt from you right away. There was another part of the story, but we'll leave that out. In the sense of there was someone trying to play devil's advocate. Her name was Khadija.
Yes.
But what she actually did was she did me a favor because you and Katusha both embraced me and protected me.
Yeah, that has been always the thing that I've witnessed in America. And I can't say about Khadija. Khadija is Somali, so it's very surprising, right?
Yeah.
what I've witnessed in America, coming to America, when I arrived here in 1975, is how they purposefully pitched black models against each other.
Absolutely.
Like you have to dethrone one to take the place of.
That's absolutely right.
While we could see a lot of white models, top white models, all working at the same time. Mm-hmm. But they create this hostility, for the lack of better words, if I may be blunt. It is the playing of the house nigger against the field nigger in mm-hmm. slavery days, right? Mm-hmm. So it is that kind of competition, that kind of like there's only one space for you girls, so dethrone one, and and that hostility that I felt when I arrived, especially that they have pitted me against Beverly Johnson.
Right.
Thank God I came fully developed. I might have been very young, but I came here to the United States fully developed by my mother, who have always told me about my worth, self, mm-hmm. and how to walk away from things that don't serve me well. But most importantly, it's the idea that I'm not going to play the game of pitting me against Beverly Johnson, because there is a space for both of us.
Absolutely.
Right. So so in the story how you're telling it, it was that.
It was that. It absolutely was that. So tell me, I read that, and also from our wonderful beloved Beth Ann.
Yes.
When you went to a fitting,
yes,
they didn't think that you spoke English.
Yes.
And they spoke in front of you. What was that like for you to hear these things?
For me, actually, I took it. I played into the game. Because it's great to hear what people say about you, because you can learn faster.
Yeah, but they had no idea how smart you were and where you were coming from.
Exactly. I mean, I came from a country. I was very surprised first of all, that I was being called the black model. Because to me, in my country, nobody has ever called me black. We're all black. Nobody says so-and-so is black, so-and-so is black. So to me, when I heard the Iman, the black model, I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Right? So I arrived, and so everybody assumed. But by the way, also, they didn't only assume. Peter Beard actually concocted this story.
Now, for everybody that doesn't know, should we just explain? Peter Beard is the wonderful, amazing photographer that discovered Iman coming home from college,
yes,
university.
Yes.
But of course, he tells it another story. So Iman's going to tell the way he tells the story, which is absolutely, I get why he concocted the story. It sounds just more like, it's embellished, but it just sounds amazing.
Exactly. And I've always said, because I've never wanted people to think about, because he was a white man, that he was just being racist.
Right.
I've always said to them, I knew what was going on.
Yes.
It wasn't like I didn't know.
Yeah.
Right. I knew what he was doing. He was setting a platform for me to create this hype around me. I understand that.
And it worked.
Yeah, it worked. Yeah, and I can honestly say he's not a racist person.
Not at all.
Yeah. So I arrived, right, and he concocted this story.
And she arrived, everybody. She arrived.
Yeah. And by the way, I was not discovered. I always say I wasn't lost to be discovered.
I know, but it's like, but wait, you didn't tell us the story of what he said.
Yes.
To what we know.
Yes.
We know you at university because you were studying and focused on your exams and your degrees.
Yeah.
But he came and kind of sidetracked to that. But tell us how he said it.
So here I was majoring in political science at the Nairobi University. That's where he met me. He took pictures of me. Paid me, by the way, brought the pictures to the United States, and how he put it to the press was that he has discovered the most beautiful woman. He didn't say black. He said the most beautiful woman in the world, and I was a goat herder.
So was he trying to say that you were in the farm?
Or in the jungle. I don't
In
know.
the jungle.
Like, mind you, my father was an ambassador. I spoke 5 languages.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I've never seen a jungle. I was in Somalia, which is a semi.
A very educated girl.
Exactly.
God bless him.
But the story, it was like, like My Fair Lady, like you recreate somebody out of nowhere, out of nothing, and then from then on, you take over your story and you own your story and you recreate and you tell the truth of your story, right? And that's what was happening at that time, as I was barely 19 years old. So I arrived in the United States, and one of the first people that they asked me to come and see him was Stephen Burrows, which is the Black designer.
Yeah.
And I arrived there, and by now the press has written that I don't speak a word of English. Mind you, I spoke 5 languages before I arrived. Speaking African. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, so I arrived at Stephen Burrows' studio. And there were a couple of Black models there. And everybody assumed that I didn't speak a word of English. So everybody talked about me. Oh, she's not that beautiful anyway. She thinks she's royalty, but they said she's a god. Everybody's talking
You
about
are.
me. Yeah.
Oh, please.
And I'm pretending I have no idea what they're saying, right? And he gave me a dress and heels. Mind you, I have never worn heels, makeup, or seen fashion magazines before I arrived to the United States. So
what was that like for you, putting on a pair of heels for the first time?
Oh, I couldn't. That's the thing. I put the dress on, right?
Yeah.
Pretended like I know what I'm doing. And then for the life of me, I could not get my balance to put the heels on. And Beth Ann, who was his assistant then, got on her knees to help me put the shoes on. And the whole room roared, the models. Don't go on your knees, Beth Ann. She thinks she's a royalty. She thinks she's a princess. Now you're gonna make her feel like she's owed to put her shoes for her.
But she saw, Ma saw that you were struggling.
Exactly. And from that day on, she looked up at me and she said to me, conspiratorially, she said, "You understand everything they're saying, right?" And I said, yes, in English. And she was my first welcome to America, my first friend, my first person who gave me the biggest hug and held me and said to me, "I got you. This is my number. Call me." And we've been friends since then. And, and I have had the honor to call her my friend, and also she was my maid of honor at my wedding.
Oh, we love Ma. I just had a fun weekend with her. She came to Ohio with me.
Yeah, she did tell me, because she came over here to have dinner with Lexi and I on Friday. So we saw her on Friday.
She's in good. And today I saw Ma in British Vogue. I'm like, Ma's living her best life. Beth Ann Hardison we're talking about, folks. She's living her best life. She's acting. I'm so happy and proud of her.
Absolutely.
So now, I'm trying to remember. Do you remember when we were backstage at Azzedine's show, and I was coming up to 18, and you were like, "I'm going to throw you a debutante ball."
I know
what it meant.
And I wish I did then.
And I'm thinking, and then when I did understand what it meant, I'm like, they never would have accepted me. How was Iman going to get me in there? But then I realized you were going to throw your own debutante ball.
I know. How lovely was it? How lovely.
So now, you start modeling here in New York City first.
Yeah.
When did you feel like this was something? Did you like it right away?
Oh, no. First of all, I was like fish out of water. I've never seen fashion magazines. I had no idea what I was doing. And so I was learning on the job. And just like a typical Somali, we always look like if you could look at a pond and you see a duck, right? From the top, it's like this. But the bottom is like that. So I was constantly suffering from that they will find out that I have no idea what I'm doing. That it's going to be in a second, it'll be all over. That's why when I left Nairobi, Kenya, I asked Wilhelmina to send me a ticket with a return ticket, because I always wanted to make sure that I was not stuck here.
That's right.
If it didn't go well, I need to go back home.
Yeah.
And I've kept my ticket. I still have that ticket.
You have your ticket?
I still have
You know, I saw a beautiful layout of you, and I tried, was it last year, 2020, with you, with Peter Beard.
Miranda Ricciardi.
Oh, beautiful.
But
I think they were never seen these pictures, right?
Yes, Mirella actually discovered me. She's the first person who saw me and told Peter about me.
Ah, I love that story. I love those pictures.
You know, absolutely. Mirella Ricciardi, yes. She wrote
really beautiful, just very reportage. And
Exactly, yeah.
So who would you say then you're feeling this way? And I know exactly how you felt. I used my dance background because I didn't know anything out of what this was about. But who would you say was the photographer or person that you felt that molded you?
Peter was the only one that saw me in a different light. Right? He saw me as I've never heard the word beautiful till I met Peter. Because, you know, I come from a country, Somalia has beautiful women, you know. So I'm like a dime a dozen. They used to say when I became famous, they used to say in Somalia, if Iman can become a model, any Somali girl can become a model.
No, let me tell you, you just don't know. It's in that your elegance is unprecedented. It's your grace, your elegance, your essence. I mean, and what people do not know about you is how funny you are. I know. You have an incredible sense of humor. And I was actually with Michael Kors last week, and he said to me this, he goes, I said, you don't have to tell me, I know. I've gotten to be around and see a great sense of humor. I know.
So, but
so witty.
He really was like the first person I ever heard, beside my family, that I've ever heard call me beautiful. I was like, what? Who's he talking about? Right? So he really didn't mold me, but he affirmed me. He made me feel. One thing I had was that I had a sense of self-worth, because that my mother taught me.
Right.
And my mother wanted to make sure before she sends me out in this world as a young Black woman and as a Muslim woman, that I knew my sense of self-worth, so that if I'm equipped with that, then I will know whether business or personal, that I will know how to walk away with things that don't serve me.
Right.
So
that's a very valuable lesson to know.
Exactly.
And to,
so whether it's a husband, a boyfriend, a business, don't ever think you cannot walk away from it if it's not serving you well. So I was equipped with that. So that was my superpower as a young girl when I came here. But everything else was treading in difficult waters and political waters and racist waters, and seeing and hearing how things are operated, you know.
So you became aware of racism when you got to United States?
Oh, absolutely. My first experience was that the discrepancy of rates that they were paying from Black models versus white models. And I was with Wilhelmina, and Wilhelmina herself was alive then. That was thousands of years ago. And I said, when I saw that, because they were doing like what they call it, the composite cards and all that, and my rate was different than the white girls. And I asked, and they said, well, no, that's what they, and they didn't even say that's what they pay the Black girls. It was an unspoken rule, right? And I said, and I took 3 months hiatus. I refused to work, because to me, it wasn't about black and white.
Yeah.
It was about, well, what is my worth?
Yes.
I want to be paid for services rendered.
Exactly.
If a Caucasian model and I'm doing the same job, the same job, why would I be paid less?
Less.
And if I take it, shouldn't I then be feeling that I'm deserving less? So I said, this is now, I'm just walking into this business. And I was like, well, yeah, no, I'll be fine for 3 months.
Yeah.
And they changed the rate and they made me to be paid the same amount.
My God. So even back then,
Yep.
I mean, I used to call Beth Ann in 1986, 87, 88, 89, 90. Ma, I'm not having this, they're not paying me the same. And they say, but it's prestigious for you to do the same. It's going to be good for your career. But then pay me the same.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same work.
Yeah. And, and the other thing for me was that my father was an ambassador when I was growing up. But by the time I left Kenya, we were refugees, right? And so I had brothers and sisters that all wanted to finish their education. And education means a lot to us in Africa, right? It's at least a guaranteed something.
That's every African parent I know, friends of mine, they may do creative work, but they got to get their education first.
Exactly. And so I was in a position that finally I can make money so I can guarantee my brothers and sisters finish their schools, right? So to me, I was in it for a different reason in the business. But I could see it where the money was the the advertising. So I wanted those advertisement jobs, right? And it was not available to us. And so I kept on pushing for it. That's what I really want. I want to do the ads. I want that spoils of war, as we call it. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted that so that I'm not reliant about the idea that I'm being told all the time. Do the editorial jobs. It will, and what do they pay? $150?
Exactly. People have no idea. They think that when we're on a Vogue cover, that we're getting millions. They have no idea.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I need to do this. And because my intention was that I need the money. I need to take care of my families. I need to do this. And so that was my big push. And I somehow I convinced the agency to push me into that. And slowly, I started getting advertising jobs. And that became a game changer for me.
Well, I remember one of your first ads. How I know you is because knew of you, and just your net, the Tia Maria commercial.
Yes.
And I used to sit there and wait for it to come, just because I just loved you were like a ballet dancer, your grace and everything, and your hands and your neck, and and that's how I first saw you, and just so beautiful. And
but imagine, I had to convince my dad and my mom that Tia Maria was not alcoholic.
Is it? It does have alcohol, no?
As a Muslim girl, I'm like, I can't.
It has a little bit, no?
It does, but I could not. I said, no, it's not. It's not.
So then you start doing the advertising.
And then I wanted the designers, because I was working for all the designers. So why can't I get an ad for the designers?
Thank you so much.
Exactly. So hence it was like that push and pull. But then I established some tight friendships with Calvin Klein, who then put me on his first ads, the first ads that I did, and then and Klein, so you create friendships. But as you know, we work twice as hard than any white model, right? We invest in this more than they.
Let me ask you this. How did you feel? Because I used to feel hurt that when it comes to fashion shows, yes, we need you. Mm-hmm. And then when it came to the ad campaign, sometimes at the show, the girls would know that they were doing the campaign. Mm-hmm. I used to feel very hurt by that.
Oh, and absolutely. And we should be hurt by it. And, it's a racist.
Because you're bringing in the press, you're getting them the press attention. People are buying that outfit. You've done everything you can to please and to represent your designer and showing everything that you have on, right? And you're amazing, you're fabulous, you're amazing, you're fabulous. But then when it comes to the ads, Where were we?
Where are you? Yeah. But the act in itself is a
Back
racist.
then.
Yeah. But the act in itself is a racist. But what it is great, and what we should really acknowledge, is that models themselves, including yourself, it is made themselves really be profitable. To make to understand the design, it is really profitable for them to have a cast of women that are representative of, like, if you think about the Versace, you do the runway of the Versace, all of you girls are on the Versace. I mean, what is the idea of not making the ad with you in it? If all the girls were going to be in it, you have to be in it, right? So, but that's a different era where then hence the models became important.
Don't say that word. Don't say that word.
The models have some fucking power. Sorry, my language.
but for me, it was just, we give our all.
Yes.
We give our everything. So we wanted to feel like you were going to give it back to us when you became successful, because often the case in our case was we met the designers when they were starting out, when they didn't have any money, when we just believed, oh, that outfit is fire. Yep. We want to work with you. We're going to be with you no matter what, because we believe in you. Free. Yes, for free, because we believe in you, that we know you're going to make it big, and hopefully when you make it big, you're going to remember us.
Exactly. It's not too much to ask, I say. And especially when they say, the show will not be anything without you. Bitch, where then, bitch?
Guys, I saw Iman do a walk. Iman, do you remember the Versace show where Johnny gave you a metal dress, but it was a bubble?
Yes.
And this dress, okay, guys, it was close to her body, form-fitting here, and then it became a bubble. Made out of metal mesh. But then the feet, the bottom of the dress was like this.
Yeah.
And I've watched this on video many times. Iman went down that runway with feet crossed like this. I mean, it was like holding a breath, because it was just so phenomenal. I'll never forget. I mean, that's just one of many, but that one, because that was a difficult dress. You always got difficult dresses. But that was the other thing.
But that's the other thing when we're talking about designers, is like they'll say, I can never do the show without you. They would say, I'll put you in my worst outfit and my best. Because I'm like,
how are we supposed to feel about that?
Yeah, exactly. Are you paying me more? No. But what I'm saying is that loving the girls, loving what we bring to the table, loving the culture, and then not participating in really standing by us. This is what's the difference when we're talking about nowadays. People say, we don't want friendships. We want allyship. If you're an ally, you're going to speak for me.
Yes.
When you see it, something is done against me, you're going to speak for me. It's not that you're going to say, well, I'd like to help, but I can't. That's
no.
Yeah. So,
we've shown our loyalties.
Exactly. And one thing I always have said, it's like, when people say, if you're doing a project and they'll say, oh, well, if another black model will do it. I say, you know what? If another black model asks another black model, we usually do it. Because if there is nobody, there is no bigger supporter than one black model to another. Because we know what we go through. We know
and that's why when people
we're the foot soldier.
You want to be alone? No, I never wanted to be alone. Exactly. I wanted to be I felt more comfortable when I was around, when we would do Saint Laurent, for instance, when we would do Azzedine, because there was more of us. The being alone thing, I hated it.
Yeah, the idea that we want a tokenism, that to be the only one. This is that has been inherently what white supremacists really push into the table.
They like to say this story.
Exactly, cat fight, No, nobody wants tokenism. We want to be, what we want is when we walk into a door.
Unity.
We want to leave that door wide open so others can step in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm so happy you said this because it's like, you know, I mean, we had the greats like Yves Saint Laurent, Valentino, Gianni, Papa,
Yeah.
Azzedine Alaia. I mean, I felt like at one point, early 2000s, I felt like we had taken a huge step backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even think we were going to get back. Hence, I mean, Beth Ann, you being the first to support Beth Ann and Black Girls Coalition.
Yeah.
And that was in that was in the 80s, Iman.
That was in the 80s. And the Black Girls Coalition, it was Beth Ann's idea that she came up with. And she came to me and we talked about it. And the idea was that what's happening with the Black models and the Black creatives, right? Meaning the Black hairdressers, Black makeup artists, photographers, etc. Right? So it was bigger than that, than just the Black models. But also is to highlight we are at the forefront. The fashion, the Black model has always been at the forefront of that. Because if you are Naomi, who you are, you're the only person who can bring a Black hairdresser with you, a Black makeup artist with you, suggest a Black photographer, right? So the Black model, once we gain some kind of a power, we're the ones who can bring up the other creatives with us.
That's right.
So that's what was the intention was behind it. But you're right. All of a sudden, all those doors that opened completely closed again.
They did.
Yeah, and in 2013, I'll never forget. Beth Ann called me one day and she said, I'm going to send you an article that the New York Times wrote. And she sent me this article. And the title of the article was "The Blonde Leading the Blonde." Apparently, for that whole fashion week, and including not the United States, but in Europe, there was the absence of Black models all across the runway. And I was surprised at 2013 that would be possible. And that's exactly when the three of us got together to write to the CFDA and to actually highlight what that reckoning should look like. Because we had to put it out there to make it sure to find out that Prada didn't use a Black model for 6 years.
But do you feel like because we had relationships with the houses and designers, and then came, and I'm not saying they don't have to have their work, they got to work and eat too, but then came art casting directors.
Absolutely.
And I feel like the casting directors, God bless them, came in and made a bridge between the model and the artist. And I think that, but you couldn't change the existing relationships.
But you could highlight, you could put a light on what is going on. So for a designer to feel, are you calling my house a racist house? I'm like, no. But do you know what's going on your behalf, under your name, through a casting agent? When a casting agent says to the modeling agencies, we don't want to see any Black models this season.
And that's what literally, guys, was said. And that's what was said.
Exactly. Like as if we are a trend or disposable, which we are not. Exactly. So that is why the three of us got together to highlight that. But what was interesting was that not only that the regular press highlighted what we were talking about, but also the social media got hold of it, and social media now has a different power where everything can be seen. But one of the things that I was very surprised of was the Celine, that was run by Philo by then. Designer. And it was like they've never used a Black model.
Never till this day?
No, then.
Oh,
we're talking in 2013.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing.
I mean, there's a few more that we can say, actually.
Yeah, and I said, what she said in an interview was that she said, I will not be forced to use a model that doesn't fit my brand. Right?
But our money can fit your brand.
And I said, nobody's asking for her to hire a Black model that doesn't fit her brand. But I also don't have to buy a Celine bag. Right? You do.
Absolutely.
You do you, and I'm going to do me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So the idea that we as consumers, because remember, Celine bags were the coveted thing.
They were the rage.
Yes, I know. I don't own a Celine bag.
It was a thing. I mean, Phoebe's whole era at Celine was a phenomenal success.
Yes, I don't own a Celine bag from then. When Hedi Slimane just took over.
Oh, you got one now?
He sent it to me because he said, "Here's your first Celine bag." I said, "Yeah, now I can wear it."
Nice.
Because at the end of the day, we have to understand we do have some power.
Yes, this is true. Yeah. No, but do you remember the picture that you created, which was, I love that picture. We're going to put that up during the show. Yes. With Annie Leibovitz. Yes. Bringing us all together. Do you want to tell us about the story behind that?
Yes. My Tribe of Beauties is the title of that photograph, and is a 15 Black models, the top of 15 Black models who were working at that time, all together, because we have never been photographed together. Actually contacted. Not officially. We've been photographed maybe, for a Galliano shot or for this shot, but never as who we are, Right. And so I wanted to be part of my book, this photograph that has never existed. I wanted to manifest it and bring it to light. And I actually contacted Irving Penn. And he called me one day, and my husband, bless him, he said, no, he's going to do it for you. Otherwise, he wouldn't have called you. But Penn called me and he said, I'm not able to do this. He said, but Iman, this is you have to gather your tribe of beauties and make this happen. And then he said to me, you cannot have a photographer. You get yourself a big photographer to give it weight to the image. And so I contacted Annie Leibovitz. Annie was the easiest part. What I dreaded was that I had limited time to shoot this, and all of you girls crisscross all over the world, different places. But I wrote you all letters.
You sure did.
Show up for that shoot, and all of you did. And till today, I have to say, is my prized possession and my legacy is that picture.
Listen, that day was it was an incredible energy. It was an incredible energy. It was just I'm never going to forget that, ever, ever, ever. Yeah. It was just to be there, all of us to be united together, doing a picture with you, for you, for your book. We wanted to be there, not forced to be there, but for you. Yeah. And it was just a really special energy. And
I will be forever grateful to each one of you, because it takes a village. I imagine this in my head, and it happened.
Listen, Iman, you don't ask us for much. You don't ask us for much. Really, you don't. So there was no way we were not going to show up for you. You don't ask us for much at all.
Forever grateful. Yes.
But okay, so then we've done the shows. Yes. We've gotten to the advertising. Yes. When did you feel like maybe you wanted to bow out of the shows? How did that come about?
You bitches were behind me.
Listen, that's not true. I remember going to lunch in between Donna Karen shows.
I've always said that my true success is that I know always. The secret to my success is that I always know when to leave the party, right? And I just needed to really make a very graceful exit. Because as I said, you bitches, you, Christy, Linda,
we cannot compare.
You know yourselves. We're right behind me.
We were like.
But it's the time to usher the new crowd, and I thought this is the perfect exit.
I mean, it was a sad time, because I remember everyone saying Iman's going to want to be her last walk. What was your last walk? Do you remember?
Terry Mugler.
Terry Mugler.
I wanted it to be Terry Mugler because he was such a big supported, but in a different way, that he actually showed me things that I never knew that I had in me. So, how he placed me in his shows, the hair.
They were spectacular.
They were spectacular. Yeah. No,
When I think about it, Iman, it wasn't a fashion show. It was a show like on Broadway.
Exactly. I think of it like the old musicals, like total theater and all that. I never had that in me till he's the one who brought that out of me, and and just.
Created. I think I met James Brown at Terry Mugler's show. You just didn't know he was going to be there.
Terry Brown, James Brown.
What's the name of the lady that was kidnapped during in San Francisco? Patty Hearst.
Oh. No, only him will bring things like that.
I mean, then we had Jeff Stryker, a porn star, and another Tracy Lord. I mean, you just didn't know.
You never knew. You never knew it was going to happen.
But that was the genius of him. It's funny. I connected him to my friend who was Cirque du Soleil at the time. He doesn't no longer. He was doing a show like in Vegas, and I think I connected. I said, "You have to use Terry. It's the only one I can think of. Yes. This is the perfect match for you." So I think he did this show. No, he just had a sexy show or something like that.
Yeah, no, he did. He did. He wanted me to come and see it. But I've been to Vegas once. I never want to go back. Once
it's not my cup of tea. It is not my cup of tea. So then you stopped and you met an amazing Englishman from Brixton.
Above all places to meet somebody, it was LA. I just moved to LA because I just wanted to have a distance also. I wanted to really divorce myself from modeling, because it is very lucrative. It's easy to come back in and out of it, and I just wanted to really have a room to breathe and think, well, what is my next act? What do I want to do next? And so I moved to LA, and while I was in LA, I met David, and it was a blind date. We were really set up.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I met this hairdresser at a photographer's dinner one night, and he said, "I'd like you to come to my birthday party." And it was at a restaurant, so I thought it was a birthday party.
Yeah.
And it was 4 of us: David, the hairdresser, and the boyfriend, and me. And the hairdresser was David's hairdresser. But David didn't even know. David was told also it was a birthday dinner.
So they just, that's even better. And that's it.
And that's how I met him. Yeah. That's how I met him. And it was 29 years ago. It's literally, when people say, do you believe in destiny? Yep. Yeah. This could not have happened.
But you know what? You took your breath. You took your space.
Yes. You let things open.
Yeah.
Yeah. You open things to come in. Mm-hmm. Right? Sometimes it's just that. It's just that. But no, I truly in my heart feel it was predestined.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
And then, but you had started the cosmetics.
No, I didn't start. I moved to LA, and a year after I was in LA, after I met David, that's when I started working on the cosmetics. Right. And I have to tell you, I was very hesitant. I might come off a very courageous girl, but I am not. And I was like, what am I walking into? Do I need? And he, you know what he said to me? So what could happen if it doesn't work?
True.
And I had no words for it. He said, there.
We needed it.
Yeah. He said, you just do it. Yeah.
It was a necessary need.
Exactly. And the necessary need, the seed was planted in my head on my first day, on my first job. 3 days after I arrived in 1975 to New York, I was at a Vogue shoot. That was my first shoot with Arthur Elgort, and there was another Caucasian model there. Mm-hmm. And the makeup artist did her makeup, and when he finished her makeup, and it was my turn, he asked me a very perplexing question. He said, did you bring your own foundation? Now, mind you, I've never known.
You didn't have any makeup.
No, I didn't even know what makeup is, right? So all the pictures that Peter took of me, I didn't have any makeup on.
That's right.
So So I said no, and he proceeded to mix and match and put it on my face. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't look brown anymore. I looked gray.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. And so from that day on,
and you want to cry because you know you don't look good.
You
and
don't
you're going
look
to shoot
like
a cover of Vogue, and you look how you.
and you look like that. And nobody's going to say the photographer messed up. The makeup artist didn't have the right.
It's her. It's us.
It's her. It's yeah. She doesn't look good. Next.
It's right.
Yeah.
So what did you do? Were you able to change it?
I went actually home and I went to the stores. There was a store, you're too young to remember, called Woolworth.
Of course I know Woolworths. We have Woolworths in England. But Woolworths in England and America are a little different, but yes.
So I bought everything I could find that had some kind of a shade that's closer to us. And I mixed and matched. But there was the first selfies, like the old Polaroid.
Yes.
Yeah. I would put a foundation on one side, on the other side, and I'll take a Polaroid. Because even then I knew that my image is my currency. Nobody cares.
And you know that the Polaroid sometimes would make us look one way in person, and then you take the Polaroid, it looks another.
Exactly. And I knew my image is my currency, and I needed to have some kind of a control over it. I didn't want it to be out of my control. I felt like I needed to have some kind of a control on something.
Yeah.
So that, and that's what I did. And I would tweak it and always have something in my pocket when I went to a shoot. Never went anywhere without it. And and most girls, did that. Most black models did that
They did that.
days.
I mean, I used to, when it happened to me in Milan, which I think I've said on the show before, also for shooting for Italian Vogue, I started to take my mom's fashion fair out of her bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that was that thick pancake one,
Exactly, heavy.
Because I was like, and it was a bit light for me because mom's a little shade lighter, but I was like, better than what that man did to me.
Exactly. At least you won't look gray.
That's right.
Yeah.
At least I won't look gray. And then, so we needed your makeup.
And so when I created it.
And it also just made so much sense.
Yeah, but exactly. If I need it, if I can't find it. Because women would stop me in the street. They say, "What foundation are you wearing?" This is something I mixed at home, right? Yeah. What foundation wear? Because they always believed like maybe I know something that is very expensive, or maybe something that is not available in the general market, right? And I'm like, no, I'm on the same boat with you. It's not out there. So I just had to create out of the need of one. I created for many.
Yeah. And Iman Cosmetics is booming and doing incredibly well right to this present day.
Yeah, since 1994.
It's 94. So how many years has it been? Has it been going? What's the anniversary?
It's July 25.
Oh, we gotta do a little something for Iman's Cosmetics. You need to be having us do something. You need to be telling us to do something on our social media.
Okay.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you, being an incredible mom, you're an incredible mom. You're a homebody. That's the other thing people don't know about you.
Yes.
You love to tell us about that.
Yes.
And also you have Zuleika.
Yes, I have my older daughter and I'm a grandma because I have a 3-year-old.
Zuleika's
a 3-year-old. Yes. Who we Zoom every Sunday, me and her. So Nana, me and her paint together on Sundays.
Oh wow.
And Lexi is now 20 years old. And then there's David's son Duncan, who has also 2 little ones. I'm totally like I'm more comfortable at home. So I usually cook dinners, and I'm more like having couple of friends over than preferring to go out.
And I also heard you cook for the kids in your area where you're living.
Yeah, exactly. I upstate. It's a shame that in this country, some of the things that you hear when you hear about kids do not get food unless there is school.
Neglected.
A school is open, that's the only meal they get, and now the schools are closed, so where are they going to get any meal? So making donations and cooking and leaving it in shelters and all that.
But you also, Iman, you've done a lot of work with, is it Save the Children?
Well, actually, I've been involved with a lot of organizations, but I've never been.
You have, and I don't know why I thought.
No.
In Africa, you did Save the Children, right?
Yeah. No, I've been with Save the Children for a lot of years, and specifically because they did a lot of work in my country, Somalia. So I've been with them and helping them for years. But I've helped a lot of other charities, but I've never been affiliated to one. And so finally, 2 years ago, I made myself be affiliated to CARE. CARE is the oldest organization in the world. They're 75 years old, and they have started first with the care packages that were sent to Europe after 1945 with the poverty of the children that were suffering there. So that was care packages. The first care packages were done after World War II. And then, of course, now they're all over the world, and specifically in Africa. My thing was that girls and women, I know for a fact, being a refugee at one time, and also an ambassador's daughter at another time, I know what it feels to have and have not. So, I know for a fact that if there are not people on the ground, the NGOs, the non-government organizations like CARE or Save the Children and tons of others that really do humongous jobs, that they're like angels who walk among us. There are people who commit themselves to things away from their families and put themselves in danger.
That's right.
All the time. So for me, they are the angels who
Do you know what I remember? Well, you were very supportive to me when I was like with my crazy idea, let's start fashion, let's do a show, Hurricane Katrina, and you showed up to all the press conferences and the show, and you were so supportive. You're like, we can do this. We had 7 days to do this.
Yes.
And I just remember you just there every step of the way. And also we gave it to carers.
Yeah.
Because why they were on the ground.
Yes.
And you know that it's going to get there.
Yes, it's very important. And now, of course, we have the influx of refugees, the influx of immigrants, all right? People don't understand, a lot of the times they don't understand. They feel that immigrants are people who are coming to their countries, who want to just live in their systems and don't contribute and all that. And that's far from the truth, because if really given the truth, none of us would want to be here. We want to be in our own countries.
That's right. Now, I was going to ask you, that goes to my next question.
Yeah.
How do you feel now seeing how Africa is suddenly becoming under the spotlight where it's been ignored for so long?
You see, the thing is this: the idea that African, because a lot of people always think about Africa that we're always asking for help, right? Which is far from the truth again.
And uneducated.
And uneducated, right? So the idea to see that the homegrown, what it happens in the ground. And also the other idea is that most Westerns, and especially Americans, and I have to say Americans, have no clue what Africa is. Africa is a whole continent. It's not a country, right?
Please tell it. But it's not their fault, though. It's education.
Yeah, but it is that if I would say anything, especially to Americans, is invest back in places like in Africa, right? It is very important to understand what an investment is. And there are more creative stuff happening there than it's happening anywhere that's out here, right?
I mean, Dave Chappelle was on last week and he's moving to Ghana.
You see, I'm telling you, because
Stevie Wonder's moving back to Ghana.
If nothing else, instead of getting a house in the Caribbean, get a house in Africa.
Africa, I totally agree.
Because you will be amazed of the creative part of it, and also the how you can help a young upcoming generations. And for me specifically, I like the girls, because I find it They're the ones who fall through the cracks is girls.
Yes.
Educate a girl.
They're the ones who suffer in conflicts.
Yes, educate a girl, empower a woman in Africa. They're the ones who take care of not only the family, but the whole country at the end. That's how it happens.
They're the strength. They're the backbone. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said to you, they've been for pushing, especially the creative part of it.
I just love it there. I just feel so like it's a lot of work, but I don't know. I feel at peace still. I feel still chilled, but I'm going. And I just feel like we have to share with our brothers and sisters. They are our brothers and sisters. They have not had what we've been fortunate to have. So we have to share it.
Exactly. And if nothing else, as I said, we all can afford certain things. So instead of giving it, if you're gonna split, say I'm gonna give $500. That's the most I can give in a year for a charity. Split it. Have it one local and have something global. Choose a place. And if you're Black, definitely I would say Africa.
Iman, do you remember when we were in South Africa?
Oh,
And I couldn't sleep at night. I had to be like, can I sleep on your couch? Because I knew, Iman, remember? I knew that then we found out we were sleeping on a graveyard.
Yeah, exactly.
Of a tribe that they threw out. Remember that?
Absolutely. No wonder you couldn't sleep.
And I couldn't sleep. And I was like, you'd be like, okay, come in. Let me sleep on your. I was like, and then we saw that little thing we took a drive and we saw this little doorway when we knew there was a town there and a village that had been taken away.
Taken away, exactly.
Now, I love the picture with you that Bruce took with you, David and Granddad and Mandela.
Yes.
What was that like?
Oh, well, it shows all on David's face. David was completely, I met Mr. Mandela several times before. I was doing De Beers collection, jewelry collection, and they contacted me, LVMH, because they were creating a De Beers collection, and I was hesitant. I was like, okay, wait a minute, I need to know, are these diamonds clean? I need to know more. So I went to South Africa, met with the president, went with Mr. Nelson Mandela, and then I went to Zimbabwe, where actually the diamonds were going to come from. And everybody gave me, I talked to the United Nations. Everybody
did your research.
Yeah, everybody gave me the go ahead.
Yeah.
I signed the contract, did the first ads for the campaign. And the next thing, I was hit by an organization, a charitable organization that actually claimed that there were tribes were actually moved from their home, right, where the mining of the diamonds were. So I contact back again the United Nations. The United Nations says it's not true. So I couldn't find the truth where it lied.
Where it came.
Yeah, where it came, and I couldn't without not feeling really, I couldn't sleep with it. So I terminated the contract. I said, I
remember when you did that.
If nobody's going to give me the clear answer and say, no, this has not happened, because to me, how I saw it was the move of this tribe, and they were also given a compound to live in.
Yeah.
And it's like what has happened here in America with the American Indians.
Yeah.
The Native Americans, where they are put in concentration camps, and you never know what you are bringing into that, whether it's alcoholism, different diseases. I was like, okay, I can't do this. So I terminated the contract. But that's one of the people I talked to, Nelson Mandela, about the De Beers thing. But when we went there with Vogue, David and I, with Bruce, and David was, he was speechless. You could see it on his face. He was like smiling but he was so lovely, and signed books for us, for all our children, right? And my parents, because my father was a huge fan of his. So it was lovely meeting, lovely.
So then now, Iman, you have been busy during this whole pandemic. You have your clothing line. You've been working.
Well,
You've been doing your own products, your clothing line. Tell us all the things, because you've just been getting on with it, and that's what's been so amazing to see.
well, as Black women, we get shit done.
We get shit done, absolutely.
Yeah.
Your empire has just grown.
Yeah, I like to stay busy. I'm 65, but it's like I don't do it fully, like all the time, but it keeps me engaged.
Your daily inspirations.
Oh, well, that comes from reading. I love reading, so I read, and I'm always inspired what people say, and it's
everybody. You need to follow Iman to see her daily inspirations. They're meaningful. They're a great start to the day, and they're always with all truth.
Oh, thank you. So I keep busy with Between the Cosmetics, the clothing line, and just being Nana now.
And now, Iman, I don't know what to say. Your career, your lifespan, what you've seen, what you've lived. I just want to ask you one more thing. Is there anything you would like to say to the young creatives, models out there that so look up to you and just need some words of encouragement?
Find your tribe. You're much stronger together than you're separate. So find your tribe. Don't ever think that you're worthless, that you have no power. You are beyond power. Know that. And this is a time, you are living in a great time where voices can be heard, connections can be made, communities can be built, right? So find that group of people that it's yours, that you can connect with it and make that difference that needs to happen. Because in this industry, nothing is going to change till we make it change.
That's absolutely right. Amen. Iman, I'm so grateful to you. I love you so much. I could talk to you for hours because we just, this is the tip of the iceberg, folks, but you got the queen.
We will talk again.
The queen is gracing us. So I hope you understand. I love you and thank you so much for your time. Thank you. I'm going to call you in 5 minutes. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, Iman. Oh my God. The queen. How smart, how intelligent, how witty. And you always learn something. Caring, humble. The queen. That's my queen. I hope you like this video and you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Saying Brown